Hum. Let us explore why meditation could stop working. This evening's lesson is drawn from a good-hearted question found on Reddit. A question that begins with, meditation stopped being as effective, and continues with, I've been practicing meditation for the last 2 months or so. Initially, I was able to focus pretty well and feel very calm afterwards. However, a lot more things are going on in my life now, and I find that it's getting harder to focus. These aren't necessarily negative things. I'm just more busy now. The same techniques I used before don't work as well, and I find my thoughts wandering much more. I still meditate every day, but I just don't feel like I enter the zone as well as I used to. Any way I can overcome this? Yes, there is. Let's begin with some broad brush strokes. When our meditation techniques stop working, it is not an indictment on us. It is, however, an indictment on the techniques and probably those who taught them to us. Let's explore this through the lens of neuroscience. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but no, not in the fun, tingly way. So it should not surprise us that 90% of meditation teachers tend to think that being rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel is pretty awesome. It also should not surprise us that only an extreme minority favor being flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Let's work with this rather rudimentary artist's rendering of a cross-section of the human brain. When these rigid, controlling teachers implore their students to either calm their thoughts or focus on their breath, the only way to put those instructions into action is to rely upon certain discrete mechanisms within our certain discrete mechanisms such as those found in our medial prefrontal cortex or the dorsolateral region. Now, hey man, the prefrontal cortex is Jim Dandy. If you want to compare, contrast, sort, calculate, reason, analyze, edit, then this bad boy is your pal. However, like a Stradivarius, it is high-strung, and it can get overworked. When that happens, our amygdala gets stimulated. This, almond-sized thingamabob right down here. This amygdala is the seat of aggression and anxiety, and that will reset whatever gains you appear to receive from your initial application of your teacher's instructions. But don't worry, there are regions of your central nervous system that have evolved specifically for mindfulness and meditation. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we access our sympathetic nervous system found in the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us perceive in a very specific way, to help us perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. That sounds pretty flexible, doesn't it? That sounds a lot more flexible than it does rigid, doesn't it? It sounds a lot more laid back than it does controlling. Would you not agree? So, what exactly are we wired to perceive? Well, of course we're wired to perceive sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, but we're also wired to perceive emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. This can get overwhelming. Fortunately, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system, found in both the lower third and approximately the upper third. This isn't perfectly divided into thirds. I'm sure you're getting this right now. Of our spinal cord. So it's kind of like, here's some guy and he's wearing enormous headphones. So this parasympathetic nervous system is wired to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Now, a reasonable question, a reasonable rebuttal could be, yeah, well, if that's the fact, then why aren't I peaceful? Excellent question. And here's the answer. Evolution is not always convenient. And this brain of ours is as cluttered as the personal storage space of a hoarder. So this thing is so disorganized. It just keeps stepping on its own dick, which I would not recommend. However, there is some good news, and it's ridiculously easy. When we silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, all of a sudden, it's like a dog whistle. All of a sudden our brain, at least momentarily, cooperates with our sympathetic nervous system. But wait, there's more. When we silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, this exact same crowded clown car of a brain begins cooperating with our parasympathetic nervous system. Remember, I'm not sure if you're an OG like myself, but remember way back in the early 80s when we got our IBM PCs and it was a very expensive paperweight until we actually loaded in the software and the operating systems, and it took an act of Congress to even type a letter. It was very, very difficult. Well, similarly, our brain is like a big old IBM PC. And these little syllables are like the software that really, really help. Or better yet, drivers. If you're operating a computer with outdated drivers, it's not a fun experience, is it? So that's it. Cooperate with your body using these tools, and you'll experience the perception and release that is often described as mindfulness and meditation. But be gentle with yourself. Why don't we start out at 5 minutes every 12 hours or so. Perhaps the second week you can bump it up to 10 minutes, perhaps the third week to 15 minutes. By the conclusion of the 12th week, you could be totally comfortable meditating for 60 minutes a pop. How cool is that? I think it could be great fun if together as a team we practice together right now after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you won't have to. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Tonight, I think it could be fun to play with the latest iteration of Dojum Lingpa's Easy Tantra, also known as Tesar Ngondro, translated under the supervision of the late Chagdud Tulku many years ago, adapted and amplified by this MOOC that sits before you. Virtually all of these recitations are figurative. This first recitation is a way to invite our subtle energy to coalesce at the crown of our head. Please chant with me. O Majo Lama, please come to this crown. O infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. O Majo Lama, please come to this crown. O infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. O Majo Lama, please come to this crown. O infallible, constant protector who knows all Dharma things. Aha, one moment, if you please. Whoopsie daisy, please bear with me. Okay, this is what I was looking for. All right, so let's meditate. Come, let us meditate for at least 12 rounds. Beginning with our index finger. Advancing the tip of our right thumb during each inhalation. Well, that's weird. Okay, some things are going on here. Please chant with me. I could be like the Lama, the archetype of right view, for I too could master awareness and letting go. I could be like the Lama, the archetype of right view, for I too could master awareness and letting go. I could be like the Lama, the archetype of right view, for I too could master awareness and letting go. The vulnerability of noticing others' stress sows the seeds of our empathy, compassion, and love. The three realms we experience is samsara cycle or like an ocean of suffering. The three realms we experience is samsara cycle or like an ocean of suffering. The three realms we experience as samsara cycle like an ocean of suffering. Centered spontaneity is key to making the most of our precious meditation opportunities. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. Ever-changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp, for change makes of clinging an absurdity. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. Being impermanent, everyone who was born will die. The privilege of interdependence is that it could allow our love to lighten others' loads. The results of our beneficial and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our beneficial and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our beneficial and harmful actions are inevitable. So whenever you see a word that is the same size of the words around it, that is italicized, that lets you know that I've paraphrased or adapted the text. Because I do not wish to practice from the worldview of patriarchal spirituality, but its matriarchal counterpart. And if you found me on the internet, you're probably the same way. The key to meaningfully benefit others is to master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Remembering this may my mind turn toward Dharma. Remembering this may my mind turn toward Dharma. Remembering this may my mind turn toward Dharma. Loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. May we therefore yearn to free all others from the tyranny of the three mental poisons of ever shoving, reaching, and clinging. The screen might go kerflooey for a moment. I will deal with it in a second, hopefully. From now until samsara is emptied, may I long to bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they have each been my kind mothers. From now until samsara is emptied, may I long to bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they have each been my kind mothers. From now until samsara is emptied, may I long to bring about benefit and happiness for all beings as if they have each been my kind mothers. Buddha's example instructions and students are known metaphorically as the three wish-fulfilling jewels. Thus from now until I reach a very heart of enlightenment, may I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. It is therefore inferred that intention is beautiful, but intention is not enough. We need a course of action. And that course of action is to rely upon the Buddha's example instructions and students. So let me see if I can't type that. All right, thank you for your patience. Thus from now until I reach a very heart of enlightenment, may I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. Thus from now until I reach a very heart of enlightenment, may I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. Thus from now until I reach a very heart of enlightenment, may I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. A life squandered in greed and competitiveness leads neither to peace nor fulfillment. To perfect the two accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives to the three jewels. Now we begin Tokal's leap over competitiveness and Klinging's obstructions to omniscience. Excuse me. Dorje Sampa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations, O Benza Sato. Dorje Sampa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations, O Benza Sato. Dorje Sampa, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purifying my obscurations, O Benza Sato. Dissolving into light diamond, mind, father, and oopsie, that's weird. Let's try that again. Dissolving into light diamond, mind, father, and mother, blend with me an experience of oneness. Aha. Okay. Thank you for your patience. And now let's try this again. Dissolving into light, diamond mind, father and mother, blend with me an experience of oneness. Dissolving into light, diamond mind, mother and father and mother, blend with me an experience of oneness. Dissolving into light, diamond mind, father and mother, blend with me an experience of oneness. I could be like the the archetype of effortless effort, mindfulness, and meditation, for I too could master love and release. I could be like the archetype of effortless effort, mindfulness, and meditation, for I too could master love and release. I could be like the archetype of effortless effort, mindfulness, and meditation, for I too could master love and release. This sounds delightfully salacious, does it not? Welcome to the second half of this evening's practice. The most efficient way to practice mindfulness is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, thus facilitating passive perception. The most efficient way to practice meditation is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the monosyllabic verb ease during our exhalation, thus facilitating release. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully was as the mind of. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully wise as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a bija, one syllable seed mantra, hung or clay drop. So we're going to take all these words and squeeze them down into 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Now that we're comfortable with those 6 syllables, we're going to recite them silently and mentally during the inhalation. During the exhalation, we're going to physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this mantra 8 times per breath. And by all means, if this is your first time hanging out with me or hunging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Menzazadum, Menzazadum, Om Menzazadum, Menzazadum, Om Menzazadum, Menzazadum, Om Menzazadum, Menzazadum. May all relationships of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddhist communication or speech symbolized by this horizontal 6-syllable mantra. Om Benzazadung, 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 Om Benzazadung. May all bodies or forms of all beings know and enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist statuary of the blissful body of a Devi or Yadoma archetype of enlightenment. Om Benza Satuhung, Benza Satuhung, Om 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 Benza Satuhung. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have their safety, good fortune, or boon. So, I cannot chant this without thinking about the people right now subjected to sexism, racism, classism, fascism, jingoism, and genocide. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have their safety, good fortune, or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Vanti. Om Benza Satuhung, 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 Om Benza Satuhung. Let us now practice the yoga of the figurative rainbow body as contemplation. I should say gentle or passive contemplation. Of impermanence and interdependence, also known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. Let's make sure this fits on the page properly. Fabulous. All visible circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into a rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. All sensual bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this communication or speech. Now, let's get creative here. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Come on, where's the cursor? Now, I have to adjust I get to adjust the display. One moment, if you please. Okay, let's try this again. All sensual bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communication or speech. How could all resounding interpersonal speech be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this mind? How could all lucid minds be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into a vast empty void? Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. I could be like the control, the archetype of actions, kind intention, communication, conduct, and commerce, for I too could master bliss and letting go. I could be like the control, the archetype of actions, kind intention, communication, conduct, and commerce, for I too could master bliss and letting go. I could be like the chondro, the archetype of actions, kind intention, communication, conduct, and commerce, for I too can master bliss and letting go. Let us bring the four bases of mindfulness into the ultimate practice of love and release. As we relax into our exhalation, help get all perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, or imagination that we notice during our inhalation. Feel is not graspable of what is a Buddha's real or imagined syllable or bija of light. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri let's try this again. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 As we relax into our exhalation, how could all resounding communication that we perceive during our inhalation feel as non-graspable of what is a Buddha's real or imagined speech or mantra of light? Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 So the key is to physically relax as best you can during the exhalation. As we relax into our exhalation, how could all sensual bodies or forms that we perceive during our inhalation feel as non-graspable of what is an archetype of enlightenment or yidam of light? Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 As we relax into our exhalation, how could appearing circumstances or lots that we perceive during our inhalation feel as non-graspable of what is a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or vati of light? Now, if I was clever, I would have italicized this because this is my addition. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 Well, that's lame. So if you've just joined me, allow me to remind you that the most efficient way to practice mindfulness is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during the inhalation. Similarly, the most efficient way to practice meditation is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during the exhalation. In the sky in front of me, my rude Lama could appear in the form of Kuntu Sangpo Yam. In the sky in front of me, my rude Lama could appear in the form of Kuntu Sangpo Yam. In the sky in front of me, my rude Lama could appear in the form of Kuntu Sangpo Yam. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 Embodiment of all Buddhas of the three times. Most excellent Lama, I pray to you. Hold me with your compassion in this life, in the Bardo, and in future lives. Bless me always throughout the three times. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. May I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened forms, each and mind. Let's see, one moment if you please. Let's put this right here. Insert pictures. Buddhist yoga. Let's look for T for Tumo. And let's find this bad boy right here. Alrighty. Om Wimsamaga Siddhi Karma Mundra Benza Guru Kaya Wakatita Siddhi O O Kransvada Chana Karma Mundra Om Benza Guru Kaya Wakatita Siddhi Om Nevos Ratna Sambhava Karma Mundrantram Benza Guru Kaya Wakatita Siddhi O Throsametama Karma Mundra Free Benza Guru Kaya Wakatita Siddhi O Hatsakshobhya Karma Mundra Benza Guru Kaya Wakatita Siddhi The Lama dissolves into light and blends with me. In our inseparability I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness and emptiness. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. 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 Let us rehearse the Poa transference of consciousness at the time of death, finding peace by relaxing into the inevitable. I pray to the protector Amitabha. Let's try this again. I pray to the protector Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Puape. I pray to the protector Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Puape. I pray to the protector Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Puape. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Mema Ziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Mema Ziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Mema Ziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Mema Ziri Hung. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. May all lots of all beings appearing in Vornu be as safely fortunate as a pure Oopsie. May all lots of all beings appearing yet would no be as safely fortunate as a pure land of law represented in Buddhist paintings. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void no be as peacefully enlightened as a Buddha's mind symbolized by a one-syllable bija. May all speech of all beings resounding yet void no be as joyfully laughing as a Buddha's speech symbolized by mantra. May all forms of all beings sensual yet void no be as beautifully healthy as a yidam archetype depicted in Buddha's statuary. May every meditation teacher truly understand the Buddha's teachings and practice master as well as teach him generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of centered spontaneity. May all meditation teachers spontaneously receive generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices, and may many Dharma centers likewise be successfully planted, nurtured, and supported. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.